Hello everyone, I welcome you all to today's lecture on the causal factors and viewpoints which are considered in abnormal psychology. So, from early times, those who observed disordered behavior grappled with the questions of its cause, and many people believed that abnormal behavior was the work of gods or demons. Hippocrates proposed a disease model which suggested that an imbalance in the four bodily humors produced abnormal behavior, with each humor connected with certain kinds of behavior, which we covered in the previous lecture. So, each attempt at identifying a cause brought with it a theory or a model of abnormal behavior. And since about 1900s, several important schools of thoughts have developed elaborate models to explain the origins of abnormal behavior and to suggest how it might be treated. So we discuss the most influential of these theoretical perspectives in today's session. Now, understanding risk factors and causes of abnormal behavior. So, one of the biggest questions in abnormal psychology is why do people feel emotionally disturbed or behave in an unhealthy way? So, if we could figure out what actually causes these problems, we might be able to prevent them or even help people recover more effectively, right? So, we'd also be able to diagnose disorders more accurately by understanding their causes instead of just looking at the symptoms. So, here to understand the causes, that's why we are trying to study the causal factors. But since this isn't easy and human behavior is extremely complex, even something as simple as saying a word involves brain activity and life experiences. So, figuring out what causes someone to struggle mentally is a huge challenge in itself. Psychologists study how different things, how different things by which we mean variables are related, right? So it's also a study of how different things, in a more technical term known as variables, related. So they often start by seeing which things happen together. So what do I mean by that? If I give it an example, if many people who were physically abused as children also developed depression as adults, we say that these two things are correlated and they go together. But that still does not mean that one causes the other, right? So here we also study correlation, which does not mean causation. Okay. So, to figure out if something is a risk factor, something that increases the chance of a problem. So, another word which is risk factor, which means that it increases the chance of the problem. Right. So, in order to figure out if something is a risk factor, it must happen before the problem even shows up. So, if childhood abuse happens before someone gets depressed, it could be a risk factor, right? So, the risk factor will precede the problem. It will happen before the likelihood of that issue. Okay. So, next, what do we ask? Can this risk factor be changed? Can we change it somehow? If yes, it's called a variable risk factor. Let's just say we can change the risk factor, then we will call it a variable risk factor. If no, then it's a fixed marker, right? So if the change cannot happen, then what do we call it? We call it a fixed marker. So what could be a fixed marker? Like a past trauma we can't undo. So here it's a past trauma. So finally, the big question is, if we change the risk factor, does the problem also change? Let's just say risk factor को हमने change कर दिया. It was a variable risk factor, but now will the problem also change? If yes, then it's a causal risk factor. Okay. So if the risk factor is changed, does the problem change? If the problem changes, if your answer is yes, then it is a causal risk factor. Right? Do you get it? So what does a causal risk factor mean? It means that it likely helps cause the problem. Helps causing the problem. But if the problem does not change, let's just say the answer here is no, it will not change. It's just a marker then, it's not a cause. So to be sure about any of this, we need to do careful research studies to test whether these connections are even real or meaningful. So understanding what causes abnormal behavior has been a central question throughout human history. So from ancient beliefs about gods and demons to modern beliefs or the scientific theories, our explanations have evolved significantly. So today we will use multiple theoretical models to understand the complex origins of mental disorders. Alright, so here the key factor would be that each theory or model offers a different lens through which to view abnormal behavior, A, and modern psychology recognizes that multiple factors usually work together to cause mental health problems. Okay, so we are always going to keep this factor in our mindset that it takes multiple factors to work together to cause mental health issues. So I gave you a brief about the risk factors and the causes of abnormal behavior. So we are now going to understand causation in abnormal psychology. Okay. So what is usually the challenge that we face to study causation in abnormal behavior? So human behavior is incredibly complex. We all know that. Even simple actions like speaking a word, it involves multiple brain regions and thousands of your past experiences, right? So understanding what causes mental disorders is even more complex than that. So let us start with what is a correlate. So while we are understanding causation in human psychology, we would start with correlate. So correlate is a variable, let's just say variable X, that occurs alongside an outcome which is Y, but it doesn't necessarily cause it. So here we are not talking about causation here. Okay, so now that we have started to study about a correlate is a variable, probably X, that occurs alongside an outcome which is Y, but there is no causation attached to it. Then how can you define a risk factor? We just studied about it. So a risk factor is a factor that occurs before an outcome and it increases the likelihood of that outcome, right? Then what is a variable risk factor? A risk factor that can be changed. What is a fixed marker? A risk factor that cannot be changed, like childhood abuse history. Okay. Now, what is a causal factor? A variable that when changed actually changes the outcome. So, I have just explained all of these to you. Now, we will be also talking about the types of causal relations. So, the first is necessary causes, a factor that must be present for a disorder to occur. How can we understand this through an example? So, you cannot develop general paresis. General paresis is a brain disorder without first having syphilis. Okay, so this is in reality, most mental disorders do not have a necessary cause. So, here a factor that must be present for a disorder to occur. So, most mental disorders in reality do not necessarily have causes. Second, what is a sufficient cause? A sufficient cause is a factor that guarantees a disorder will occur. So, according to one theory, hopelessness is sufficient to cause depression. Okay, so a sufficient cause may not be necessarily, be there, or maybe it is there in other ways to develop the same disorder. Okay, so here sufficient cause is something that will guarantee a disorder will occur. So here we could study about hopelessness as a sufficient cause for depression. Now talking about a contributory cause, which is the most common causes. Okay, so factors that increase the probability of a disorder but are neither necessary nor sufficient. Here they are increasing the probability but are neither necessary nor sufficient. So what could be the example? That maybe parental rejection may increase the likelihood of relationship difficulties later in life, right? So here parental rejection causing relationship difficulties later in life, right? So this is a contributory cause that which increases the probability of a disorder, but neither is it necessary nor is it sufficient. Okay, so this is what we study most often in psychology as well, the contributory causes. This is what is studied the most. Okay. Now, let's talk about timing of causal factors. Before we proceed, these terms which I have mentioned in today's lecture, they are very important from examination point of view. Sometimes just the definition or sometimes, question basis on these terms would be asked in your MPhil entrance exams. So let's talk about timing of causal factors. So we will start with distal versus proximal risk factors. So distal risk factors. So they operate early in life. They may not, even show effects for years together. So maybe childhood abuse creating vulnerability to depression in adulthood, right? So here we could think about childhood abuse, which might cause depression in adulthood. Now talking about proximal risk factors. So they operate shortly before the symptoms onset. Okay. So like job loss, which triggers depression in a vulnerable person. So here job loss could trigger depression. Then reinforcing contributory causes. So conditions that maintain problematic behavior once it starts. Now we will be talking about reinforcing contributory causes. So conditions that maintain problematic behavior once it starts. So what could be an example? The extra attention that we receive when sick may discourage our recovery, right? So extra attention received when sick might discourage recovery, or what we know today as secondary gains.